Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to Perspectives, the home edition, where we continue to kind of play dodgeball with the COVID problem that's ravaging the world. Which brings me to something else. Before we meet our first guest, I want to show you something that I came across in the Sunday paper. Take a look at this picture, if you will. It's a photo it's part of an advertisement for Michael's, and if just kind of glance at it, you know, it's the usual thing that you would find from an Easter layout. But do you notice anything unusual about the front picture of the young girl on the front? It says, "Who's ready for Easter?" She's wearing a mask. Didn't that strike you as incredibly unusual? It sure did me, and I wanted to make sure you saw it because we're seeing more and more ads now with folks wearing masks in them, and it's unfortunate, but it's the way it is. Now, I've had both of my shots, so it's okay for me to be in your living room right now. And I want to stress again, you need to continue to wear a mask until Dr. Fauci says you can take them off. I don't care what anybody tells you. Don't believe what you read on the internet. Go strictly with Dr. Fauci and your own doctor, because I'm telling you what, this is a disease you don't want to play around with. Now let's get down to business of why we've got you here today. Our first guest, it's like a trip back in time for me because I knew this young lady's family fairly well. Her name is Naifeh Harmon. Karen, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Introduce the person seated to your right.
This is my daughter, who's a fabulous violinist. Her name is Naifeh Harmon.
Nice to meet you guys.
Good to have you both on. And we're talking about the Tulsa Honors Orchestra. Now, let me kind of set the stage here. I knew your dad as Woody. Your mom, bless her heart, also. Both of your
Jody.
folks, very bright, creative people. And I want to share something with you. You didn't know I was going to do this, but I brought this along because your dad made this for me. He designed and made this. It's called a neck knife. It's dishwasher proof, and any good trout fisherman knows you got to have a neck knife when you're on the stream. And this is the way it works. It has a small band of metal around it, and you pop that metal down, and the blade comes out. Then it slides back up. And this thing is like a Rockwell 32 or 30, holds an edge incredibly well, and that's enough of that. But I just wanted to show you, I looked at the date on it. It was made in 1985, and I still use it to this day. I hope Woody can hear that somewhere and gets a smile on his face from it.
He loved
your
you. Loved.
Mom used to say again?
Woody loved you. He would talk about you quite often. And that was his slide lock. He had a patent on 3 different knife lock blade systems. That was one of his patents.
That's my favorite. I have used that on trout. I'm a great known killer and eater of trout. So I hope he understands that's where it goes whenever I go trout fishing. You're the director and manager, I suppose, the Tulsa Honors Orchestra, which your mother was in charge of and fronted for many years, didn't she?
She founded the Tulsa Honors Orchestra in 1979. It's been a 501c3 nonprofit since 1979.
Well, kudos to you too, by the way, for just receiving your sheepskin from the Berkeley School of Music. Very impressive. And I understand that you also, I've got to slip this in. Didn't someone recently perform some of your work here in Tulsa?
Yes. Well, back in 2018 was my first world premiere of a symphony piece, Tulsa Signature Symphony, under the direction of Andres Franco. Played a piece that I wrote about hope after tragedy called Catapult. And actually, because of what we're going through, the entire world, we need some hope after tragedy. We're going to perform it again. I'd love to invite you May 24th with my student orchestra, with the advanced orchestra. We started a Baroque orchestra a year and a half ago, and they all have Baroque bows. It's beautiful.
Can't wait to hear it. I want to be there for that. When and where is it going to be?
It's May 24th, and I have to be careful about inviting too many people, but if anybody wants to come, they can find my contact information on the website, TulsaHonorsOrchestra.com. But we have to have Sam Jones there.
I'll try to be there.
At the Performing
I'll
Arts
try my
Center.
best.
It's at the Performing Arts Center at the Williams Theater.
If we could, let's talk a little bit about the Tulsa Honors Orchestra. Explain I'm sure there are a lot of folks that really aren't familiar with it. Can you give us some background?
Yes, we've been going for 42 years. I was in the original orchestra, and so were my sisters, because we had to. We had no choice. No, we wanted to. It's a really fun orchestra. It's a string orchestra with 3 different levels. The beginning orchestra we call the debutante orchestra, and this is one of the debutante orchestra teachers, Naifeh Harmon, as well as another advanced student named Holly Ray. The core orchestra is about 40, 45, 50 students, and they play classical music. They perform a lot. They play Irish fiddling. We played actually at St. Patrick's. It was our first performance back. And my mom always said, if it's not fun, don't do it. So it's just a really fun orchestra. The culture of the orchestra is everybody's friendly. Everybody helps each other out. The older students help the younger students. This is a great example of an older student who's advanced helping the younger students. Then we have our 3rd level, the advanced orchestra. We have turned into a Baroque orchestra. We have 9 coaches. So it's student focused. 9 coaches. It's
great.
really an incredible orchestra. It's an incredible culture. It's an incredible environment that is warm, loving, fun. But the students really do learn, and they really do practice and work very hard. But the emphasis is fun. We have to have fun. And, when you go to orchestra, all the other problems in your life, they just melt away, at least for that hour or 2 hours. You're sitting in orchestra. It's a beautiful, beautiful experience. We study film music, classical music, Irish fiddling, and just have a lot of fun. But we actually get to have an in-person concert at the Performing Arts Center. So we're
when I first met your folks back in '85, you, along with your family, lived in a very large A-frame home, and I was struck with the fact that there were so many books, so much knowledge. I mean, you could sense it the minute you walked through the front door. And your dad, and I heard your mother use that saying about if it's not fun, don't do it. But I remember Woody said, come on, we'll go outside and listen to the Song Dogs. And sure enough, we went outside. It was sort of late in the day, and the coyotes were having at it. It was like they were some kind of chorus, It was really quite impressive.
We have to have you out once the pandemic is over, because we're still there. The coyotes are there. There's also froggies and cicadas and lots of beautiful creatures. There's a bobcat.
Oh, really?
There's a bobcat.
If there's a bobcat, I may have to stay in the car.
Bring your wee Naifeh knife. You'll be fine.
Sounds like a lot of fun. I'm really sorry you didn't get a chance to bring your husband along. He's as I understand it, a pretty good photographer.
He is. Naifeh Harmon. He's down there doing something, teaching or taking pictures or something.
Well, I tell you what, it warms the heart to know that you're carrying on the Naifeh tradition of creativity. I'm so very pleased at what you do and what you're continuing to do, and how you're bringing honors to the family name. And this young lady seated next to you, did you teach her, or did she take private lessons? I guess I could ask her. Does she have a microphone?
I'm going to let her talk about it.
Yeah, basically she taught me throughout. I might have had another private teacher too, just because there always is a general struggle from learning from a family member, but she's my teacher.
That's fantastic. Well, I really thought a lot of your mom and dad.
Oh,
And I remember first time I saw you, Karen, you were about that tall. So you were just getting a running start at life. And I'm so glad for the honors that have come your way. You deserve each and every one of them. And I know your mom and dad would be incredibly proud. Uh, one more time, we're talking about a concert in May by the Tulsa Honors Orchestra. And if there's a youngster out there that wants to audition for the
oh.
orchestra, how do they go about it?
Well, they can contact me. My contact information, my phone number, and my email are on the TulsaHonorsOrchestra.com website. I would love to have some more youngsters in this orchestra. It's a very, very special, really fun and wonderful, beautiful sounding orchestra. I can't talk about how much I love it more. So they can contact me, and if anybody wants to come to the concert, I have to keep the numbers down. I have a certain limit, and all of the students are bringing their parents. But if there's somebody in the community who really wants to come to a concert, because we've been the whole world is missing out on, beauty and love and culture and arts and concerts, they can contact me, and I can see if I can put them on the list. But we
Hey,
have,
listen,
back to the auditions, we have auditions every August, so they can look on the
every
website.
August. That's a good thing to know. Maybe we can get together and come video one of your rehearsals, get a number, down, record one of the numbers, and have you back and talk about it. Hey, thanks to both of you for taking time to visit with us.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank
Thank you.
you, and we'll see you again down the road. We're
We
going to
look
take a
forward to
short break. We'll be right back.